Today is the 50th anniversary of emergency, and it turned a political flashpoint with the BJP declaring it Samvidhan Hatya Divas, or Murder of Constitution Day, and the Congress alleging it is just a diversionary tactic meant to cover up its misgovernance. Union Cabinet today adopted a resolution to honor sacrifices of those who resisted emergency and observed 2-minute silence against the excesses committed back then. Let me read a part of that resolution for you. The year 2025 marks 50 years of the Samvidhan Hatya Divas, an unforgettable chapter in the history of India where the constitution was subverted, the republic and democratic spirit of India was attacked, federalism was undermined, and fundamental rights, human liberty and dignity were suspended. This was the cabinet resolution which has been adopted at that meeting, which was chaired by the Prime Minister. Top leaders of the BJP slammed emergency imposed by the government of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1975 and used this occasion to target the Congress. The Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge also responded, saying that Prime Minister Modi is repeatedly invoking a period that the country has moved past. He is making an issue out of something that people have forgotten. Let's listen in to all the reactions which came in today.
25 तारीख को आपातकाल लगाया गया। कारण तो कहा कि राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा खतरे में है, परंतु पूरी दुनिया अब जानती है राष्ट्र की सुरक्षा को कुछ नहीं हुआ था, उनकी कुर्सी खतरे में थी। बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर संविधान का निर्माण किया था, वो सारी चर्चाओं का अंत इंदिरा जी ने, राष्ट्रपति जी ने आज आपातकाल की घोषणा की है। एक वाक्य बोलकर सारे संविधान के स्पिरिट को खत्म करने का काम किया।
अरे इमरजेंसी तो अब आपने लाई है, ये अनडिक्लेयर्ड इमरजेंसी है। वो इमरजेंसी तो चले गई जो संविधान में बदलाव भी हो गया, और जब संविधान में बदलाव हो गया जिसके लिए हम भी, इंदिरा गांधी जी ने खुद उस अमेंडमेंट को मोरारजी का साथ दिया और वो बदल गया। अब नहीं है वो।
केवल एक राजनीतिक घटना नहीं थी, बल्कि लोकतंत्र पर सीधा हमला था, एक कुठाराघात था। 50 वर्ष बाद भी कांग्रेस उसी मानसिकता के साथ जी रही है। उसकी नीयत आज भी वैसी ही तानाशाही वाली है।
आरएसएस और बीजेपी ने अपनी उंगली भी नहीं कटाई उस वक्त में। इनको पूछो, इनको उस वक्त में इन्होंने क्यों नहीं आजादी जंग में भाग लिया। और बेरोजगारी है, उसकी चिंता इनको नहीं है। महंगाई बहुत भयंकर बढ़ रही है, उसकी चिंता इनको नहीं है। तो और क्या करेंगे? इमरजेंसी की बात करेंगे।
And joining us now is someone who witnessed those 21 months of dark days of Indian political history. Venkaiah Naidu, former Vice President of India, is joining me live from Hyderabad. Mr. Naidu, appreciate your time here on NDTV. Mr. Naidu, remember, doesn't speak often on or gives interviews, but he has agreed to give us time, so thank you. Sir, during the emergency, you were actively involved in the political resistance. Can you share a specific incident that profoundly impacted you and also shaped your resolve to fight as a young student against the authoritarian regime?
Marya, in fact, I was not in politics at the time, but I was a student activist. I have invited Sri Jayaprakash Narayan to university to address the students. Citing that as a reason, they have arrested me under visa. On 25th night, we received a message from our RSS elders that emergency is being imposed, we go to underground. So I slipped to underground, went to friends' places, and were going around place to place and pasting posters and also writing on the blackboards outside the Congress office. That's how we ran the campaign. In 25th September, I was caught by the police. I was inside for 17 and a half months during emergency.
Mr. Naidu, the emergency period saw widespread arrests and suppression of dissent. How did you and your peers maintain morale and solidarity in those months you spent in the jail?
Yeah, in fact, I was preparing to enroll myself as an advocate because my mother, who died when I was 13 months old, her wish was that I should become an advocate. So I studied law and preparing myself to enroll as an advocate. But in between came this emergency. And once I was put inside the jail, there were all shades of people from Janasangh, from RSS, from left, extremist left, and also some old congressmen and all, were all there in jail. During that period, we used to discuss in the evenings about general issues and also discuss about the challenge posed by the authoritarian regime. And then there we have resolved to fight it out by opposing Indiraji once we are out of jail. My determination has grown really because of interaction with various people, including veteran freedom fighters in the jail.
Sir, during those months, who was one leader whose words impacted and influenced you the most?
During that period, in our jail in Visakhapatnam, where I was a student, Andhra University, late Sri Tenedi Viswanathan, freedom fighter, minister in combined state of Andhra and Tamil Nadu, and also coffee board chairman. He was a veteran freedom fighter. We used to go to him in the evenings, generally when I was a student in the university, because he used to conduct discussions in the evening on literature, on public life. And we were impressed by him. But once in jail, we were there with him and also Sri late Gautu Latsanna, a stalwart for Swadra Party, associate of late N.G. Ranga. Those two people were there inside, along with Dr. Subramanya Sastry, RSS chief of the state. We were really inspired by these three personalities during the jail, and also, of course, there were a number of other people also. During our discussions, my resolve to fight against this authoritarian regime has got really more strengthened.
So, what was the reaction of your family? Because you said that your mother wanted you to be a lawyer, and your studies certainly suffered during those months in jail.
It's really, I must really pay compliments to my wife. I was married before I joined law because my relatives, they all pressurized me that mother is not there and father has become sufficiently old, so you get married once I completed my degree. Reluctantly, I got married, and my wife comes from a rural background, doesn't study beyond high school, so they were all really depressed. But she maintained morale in spite of other neighbors and all saying emergency means inside the jail only, there is no scope to come out and all. But she was strong enough to face that, and then she never complained also, because those days, once in a month, you were allowed to have an interview also. My wife said she will be writing letters. She wrote letters, she never came for the interview.
And reflecting on your personal experiences during emergency, Mr. Naidu, how did the curtailment of civil liberties and press censorship shape your political ideology and also your career?
Because of the restrictions imposed and the news we got, we used to get underground newspapers by RSS. And we used to get a lot of information what is happening outside. And then in the jail also, we used to have general discussions. During general discussions, because I was so young, we were totally opposed to this authoritarian regime where you are not allowed to go out for no fault of yours and you are not allowed access to newspapers. Even the newspapers that are made available, they are censored. They used to put tar on that newspaper, any negative news about the government, etc. That was very, agitating in the minds, and then said, why this sort of this thing? What is the sin we have committed? So internally, during our discussions, we have resolved that we must really become strong, improve our health, eat enough, and then go out, and once you get an opportunity, we must teach her a lesson, because this authoritarianism is not acceptable, particularly during younger days. Your resolve and your determination will always be strong to fight injustice, to fight authoritarianism. And we were inspired by Jayaprakash Narayan's speeches also, because we heard about the Navnirmana movement in Gujarat and also Chhatra Sangharsh Samiti movement in Bihar, which was against corruption, against price rise, later against authoritarianism. So that has really influenced our mind, our thinking also.
So looking back, sir, what lessons did you learn from the emergency that you believe are crucial for today's political leaders and activists also to understand and perhaps even apply in their efforts to safeguard democracy?
What is the value of liberty? People can live without food for some days, but you cannot live without free expression, because that is more important, more fundamental for anybody's life. So that being the case, we were eager to come out and then fight against this authoritarianism. The eternal vigilance is the price one has to pay for liberty. Be always active. Be in touch with what is happening and do your might as a responsible citizen. That is the lesson one has to learn. For the younger generation of today, they may not be aware of what was emergency, and then they might have read here and there about some imposition of emergency and all. But one should know what is emergency, how fundamental rights were curtailed, how freedom of press, freedom of expression, freedom of movement were all curtailed, and how they have impacted even the other walks of life, even including judiciary also. All these things, I think there has to be a lesson and a chapter in the history books of the students so that the younger generation is made aware of the emergency, the draconian black chapter in India's democratic this thing, and also to guard against any such effort by anybody at any time.
Sir, the editorial that you have written today, in that you emphasize the importance of educating the younger generation about emergency. What specific measures do you believe should be implemented in the current educational curriculum to ensure that this dark period in Indian democracy is adequately covered?
Yeah, what is democracy? What is freedom of expression? What is freedom of press? What is freedom of liberty? All these things, they should be part of the history. And also threat to democracy and what is dictatorship in various forms, in various places, that also should be part of history for the students. And then the effects of emergency, how many people were arrested, who are the great people who were arrested, and how the media was censored, all these details, chronology of events, and that led to the so-called imposition of emergency. Why this provision of emergency in the Constitution, Article 352, Clause 1, why this provision was made at all? That was made initially to take care of external aggression or internal disturbances. Later, during Janata Party's regime, even this provision for internal disturbance also was removed because there is no scope for internal disturbances. This is what they thought at that time, right? So all these things, the younger generation should read the history. It should be made available to them so that they can guard against such any authoritarian tendencies at any level in any government or in any form of government.
My last question to you, sir. Today, of course, marks 50 years of emergency. As a young Venkaiah then to now, what are your thoughts?
See, I was young, 25-year-old at that time. I have just completed my studies. And the emergency, the experiences, the remembrance and my thoughts sometimes gives me more determination to to educate the people, prepare the younger generation to fight any injustice, to fight against corruption. These are all some of the thoughts that come to me, and also the JP comes in front of me. Those ideas of following JP, I traveled along with JP from Visakhapatnam to the Andhra border, Tamil Nadu. And then during underground, I met late Kamaraj Nadar along with Sri Neeram Sanjeev Reddy, who later became President of India, and also Gautam Ratsanna, freedom fighter. And also the days I spent in underground for those 2 months, going around different parts and then pasting wall posters and writing on the blackboards against emergency. Those thoughts really make me more energetic even now also.
All right, Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, really appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to NDTV.
Thank you, Marya. Thank you very much. Thank you, NDTV.
Let me bring in the guests who are joining us now. We have Radhika Akhera, spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Joy Kumar, national spokesperson of the Congress and former MP, Neerja Chaudhary, senior journalist. Dr. Joy Kumar, of course, is one of the most darkest chapters that one can think of. But, perhaps the reason why the government is reminding the younger generation, which will have no memory whatsoever, is that there has to be efforts made to protect and value democratic principles. And that is the reason why something that happened in 1975 must be taught and remembered.
It's quite funny that what exactly and what happened in 1975, if you multiply it by a factor of 100, is what's happening. On your TV channel, example, Marya, BJP MLA slaps a person on Vande Bharat. No news. BJP leader extorts 8 crores from Manrega. No news. I'm just saying last week, America sends advisory. No news. So in 1975, the emergency was declared. Indira Gandhi herself declared that it was a mistake in 1978. All those facts are there. We have accepted it as a mistake. There is no debate on it. But what do you think is happening now? There is no TV channel in this country, which is, and Radhika is like a younger sister to me, but the fact is, Surat ran no newspaper. Pune ran no newspaper. BJP MLA slaps the SDM, no news. This is last week. Okay, Marya, it's not, I have never attended a TV show. The only thing is, the shows are always linked to what the BJP wants us to say. I am forced to come to a show, so I do come. Not my cup of tea, but anyway, I need to say it. 78, even when we lost, we supported the amendment to remove the 42nd Amendment. We said it was a mistake. But what is happening now? CAG. Could you write on CAG today? Have you ever any TV covered on the CAG report in the past 10 years? Just give me one example. I'm just asking you. Or is all your colleagues from NewsClick being arrested? Is that logical? NewsClick people being arrested, Gautam Navlaka, Sudha Bhardwaj, Umar Khalid, everybody. You think judges under, and I have a long list. So since we are under the microscope today, so I just want you to indulge me for 2 minutes.
Sure, please go ahead, sir.
My question to you is, you think that the ED, CBI and IB have been weaponized? ED has been weaponized. The Supreme Court has kept it, continuously said that. The data is 95% are opposition leaders. The governors have been used to change governments in Madhya Pradesh, Goa. You know the story, the absurd story in Chennai. I'm saying that emergency has to be remembered, yes. And it has to be, and we accept that it was, the mistakes were made, and we lost it, and we accepted that we made a mistake.
Okay,
we continue, and we supported the amendment to remove it. My only question to you is, if you can say with a straight face that you all are free, I will actually stop coming on TV. Because the fact is that I see the news as BJP MLA slaps an elderly person on Vande Bharat. Nobody covers it.
Neerja perhaps will respond to that. Neerja, the concerns of the Congress.
Last thing.
Yes.
Amit Shah says no English education. You don't want to cover it. You'll be out of job. I'll be out of job because I speak little English.
Neerja, please respond.
Look, Vande Bharat happening has its own place. 50 years of emergency has its own place. Today, Marya, if 65% of India is under 35, I would say it is safe to assume that 4 out of 5 Indians were not born or just born when the emergency took place. So to remind them of the dark chapter of India's history, when fundamental rights were suspended, the press was muzzled, the term of parliament was extended, judiciary's powers were curtailed, there was enforced nasbandi. It is a good thing to remind Indians that this happened so that it never happens again. And I would think if you look at it politically, yes, the BJP probably is using it as a way to get at the Congress. Congress made the Constitution its symbol last year. And since then, so the BJP is reminding them, look, this is your history.
But does it really benefit the BJP politically? I mean, as you said, that it's a young population. For them, there are far bigger issues of livelihood or job opportunities. It's aspirational India. Why should aspirational India be told about what happened 50 years ago, Radhika? You have to unmute yourself.
Good evening to everyone. Yeah, good evening to everyone. It's 2025 and yet we're discussing the emergency of 1975. Why? Because some wounds never heal and some betrayals never fade. The Congress party, which imposed the darkest chapter of Indian democracy, still carries the same authoritarian DNA. Let's revisit 1975, not to dwell on the past, but to remind ourselves of the horror Congress unleashed. One woman's thirst for power turned India into a prison. 1.1 lakh people arrested, opposition crushed, press muzzled, fundamental rights stripped away, families destroyed in the name of forced sterilization. One of Indira Gandhi's closest confidants, Pupul Jaikar, she revealed in her book how the emergency wasn't about national security, which the Congress today claims, but about a leader who was consumed by paranoia and power. Her personal vendettas shaped the national policy. Gayatri Devi, who can forget Maharani Gayatri Devi, the elegant Maharani of Jaipur? She was jailed. Her only crime, because she was beautiful and popular and everything that Indira Gandhi envied. Just because a woman was popular and beautiful, Indira Gandhi put her to jail. Her brother faced ruthless persecution because of that. This was the democracy under Congress party, under the grandmother of Rahul Gandhi, under the man who seeks to be the Prime Minister of India today, where personal grudges dictated the state action. And yet, Congress has never apologized. Instead, Rajiv Gandhi ji justified emergency by calling it necessary. Necessary for who? For the people of a one family's throne. Fast forward to today, the Congress continues to show its true face. The same party that jailed RSS and BJP leaders during the emergency now questions India's military strikes and aligns with those who seek to undermine our nation's, my country's sovereignty. Rahul Gandhi on foreign soil appeals for intervention of George Soros in India's democracy. A shameful echo of the 1975 mindset. Let me please complete. And what has changed for Congress in 2025? Nothing. They still mock India's first tribal woman president. They oppose reforms like CAA, Article 370 removal. They defend dynastic politics over democratic principles. The arrogance and hypocrisy that fuel the emergency are alive and well today. But today, we are under the leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, where we are celebrating democracy. Yet, Congress still continues to plot the democracy's downfall. So yes, 1975 is still an issue in 2025. Emergency is just not history. It is a reminder and a warning that never again that India will allow one family's ambition hold India hostage.
Okay. Ajay, Dr. Ajay Alak.
Look,
Ajay Kumar,
Marya,
sorry. Please go ahead, sir.
Marya, do you speak, when you want to speak something sensitive, do you speak on WhatsApp or FaceTime, or do you speak normally? Everybody in India is doing this because they know the government is snooping. What happened in emergency, I just want to correct Radhika ji. Indira Gandhi apologized in Yavatmal in 1978 in a public rally, and we have as a party said it, and there is no debate on that. The emergency was a mistake and there's no debate. But my question today is, do you think that you don't have an emergency-like situation where the media, you think the media is free? Why are we 146th in the Transparency Index? Why are we 152 in the freedom of press? Why are the one of the most dangerous places in the world for journalists? I'm not saying it. Everybody else is saying it. Marya, the question again is, and you know it, anybody who is even my, my guy who supplies milk and all says, ki WhatsApp mein call kijiye. If the whole country is scared that somebody is snooping on them, you are sure, and I'm sure all journalists in their heart, you can't say it on a TV channel. The fact is that there is a great deal of misuse of the government agencies. The emergency was for 2 years. Indira Gandhi made a mistake, but she called an election and we lost that election. And that was a mistake. But I'm saying what is happening today? Jailing, ED, CBI, no CAG report, all journalists who are having an independent voices are unless muzzled. And it's not the journalist's fault because, it's a job they need to do. They need to keep the, pay their EMI. So I'm not even saying that at all. My only angst is, as a true Indian, is there a situation where you feel that the government is snooping and doing the wrong? First question. Is the press in India, the mainstream media free? I don't think so. Nirja will know better. Okay. And one second, I agree with Nirja ji on what she said. That
Can I get 1 minute?
No, Radhika, just finish. I can only say one thing clearly, that why is it that we are one of the most unsafe places in the world for journalists? Why is it the press not free? 140th
Radhika, respond 30 seconds and then I'll give the last word to Nirja. Yeah. Please go ahead.
I agree. On 24th of January 1978, Indira ji went and apologized and went and spoke in Yavatmal. But she did not apologize. She did not renounce that emergency was wrong. She framed it as a painful yet essential step for restoring order. Please do not spread this fake narrative, WhatsApp
After
narrative.
That other Congress presidents have
and
apologized.
She also said, let me complete.
There has been public apology already.
Please let me complete. You didn't speak in between when you did not correct him. You did not correct him that he was quoting her wrong. She said this categorically that the others are refusing to apologize and I have lost the election, so I am coming and apologizing. And she again said that it was painful yet essential. Rajiv Gandhi went on to maintain that it was essential. So how are you now saying that humne ab apologize kar diya? So fine, tomorrow someone will go and kill someone. Let's get rid of the courts. Maafi mang li, get over with it. Why is the punishment needed for anything? People were killed. People were shot at Turkman Gate. Those people whose bodies were thrown away, nobody knows where those bodies went.
Okay,
because Indira ji decided that. All those people who couldn't become fathers and brothers again.
50th anniversary, and there'll be constant reminder. I think the BJP has decided that even if the Congress has apologized, that's not good enough. They will continue to remind them because in 2024 elections, the reason why they did not reach that magic number on their own was because of this entire narrative around constitution built by Rahul Gandhi of Samvidhan Hatya Divas.
Yes, I think the constitution has, they made it into a political symbol. And it is very interesting that it is now constitution is equal to B.R. Ambedkar, is equal to Dalit, is equal to reservations, and that has become a political symbol. And both sides are going to talk about the constitution. Marya, I say this, that is very good for the citizens of India if both the ruling party and the main opposition party promise that they are not going to misuse the constitution. But one thing we must learn from the emergency, all parties need to learn, is leaders will come and leaders will go, but it is the health of our institution, our democratic institution, that will keep democracy safe in India. And that is what we need to strengthen.
All right, Nirja Chaudhary, Dr. Joy Kumar and Radhika, really appreciate your time.